ITRBoxing. You heard it here first. Pretty cool videos. And I heard they're also in HD. ITRboxing.com.
That's a crazy story. So one of the reasons I know you're so good is like I've known people that have sparred you and they speak highly of you, but also someone I respect a lot, Vic Pasillas, once told me the reason Jojo Diaz is good is strictly because of how hard he worked. And Vic Pasillas is ridiculously good. So for Vic Pasillas to tell me that you're a hard worker and so good, I think that says all that anyone should ever know about Jojo Diaz.
Yeah, because when I was growing up, man, I was like 10-0 wanting to freaking spar. Like at that time, Victor already had like 200 fights or 300 fights. He was a king in the amateurs, man. He used to walk into all the fights, have freaking an entourage holding his belts and shit. And I was like, damn, who's this kid? And I ended up getting introduced with them. Me and him ended up becoming like really, really close friends. He used to spend a night at my house a lot. We used to hang out. And the thing about me was I used to spar Victor Pasillas almost freaking every week. I used to let him just beat the shit out of me, man. Victor Pasillas used to just beat the shit out of me and stuff. But from that, man, I learned a lot. I learned how to block a lot. I started getting better and better. And freaking we ended up sparring, and we ended up started going toe to toe, man, once I started, getting more developed and stuff like that. So Victor Pasillas, he's one hell of a fighter, and he's one hell of a friend, man. We grew up together, and I'm glad that he spoke highly about me, man, because I speak highly about him too, man. I remember those days he used to bust me up all the time, man. Give me busting noses, give me with those check hooks, those body shots and stuff, man. It was some good times.
Well, no, he really said that to me one day because we were talking. He's like, the reason JoJo's good is because he worked hard, and like I didn't ask anything beyond that. He just said like you work hard. Who's the hardest person you ever sparred at any point in your life?
I think the hardest hitting person, or just the
Just
hardest.
the hardest. Well, we'll do both. We'll break it down in two. The Let's say the most strategic person, the person you had to work the hardest against.
The person that I feel like I had to work the hardest against, I would say, was, let me see. Hmm.
That's a good question. I got you
Yeah,
thinking.
that is. I sparred a lot of fighters, man. I sparred a lot of fighters, but I think I think the hardest person was Leo Santa Cruz at the time, that would give me the best work, because he would apply a lot of pressure and he would throw a lot of shots where it had me, keep on guessing, have me going back. And his length and his work rate was frustrating to me at that time. But I was able to start adapting ever since we sparred about like 15 times. And the first couple of times it was a little frustrating because I had to I didn't have the style that I had now, where I would, throw shots and then bounce, because I was always on my toes and I would bounce back. And when I would throw shots, he would block, and then right when I would bounce back, he would throw some shots. So he had a good strategic and a good strategy going into the sparring session, because he was longer than me and he threw a lot of shots. So I think that was like the most frustrating guy that I ever sparred at that time. The
Okay,
most
and
hard I was Ponce de Leon. Ponce de
okay.
Leon actually fractured my hip one time when we were sparring, because we were duking it out. I was landing some freaking big blows on him. Fucking, we were fucking each other up, and I guess I got angry one time where he threw like an illegal blow, an experienced illegal blow where he threw a hip shot at me. And man, I swear, when I was sparring, I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even like do anything anymore. My whole body was just numb. Where he just started throwing some shots and just messing me up as well. And yeah, I ended up going to the doctors that day, and I ended up fracturing my hip.